Instead of using many appliances over the years, just use one to consume less and save more. Miele products are designed to last for 20 years. That's quality ahead of its time. Miele, immer besser.
Hello again, CC from Shanghai. The project I'm presenting now is Capsule hostel and bookstore in a small village. So as it's named, it's not a conventional hotel. Actually, it's a hostel that with 20 capsule rooms, 10 for girls and 10 for guys, and it's together with a rural library. And then the project result in, we can see this image that it's a hostel that disappearing in the library, or we say interviewed with this library. It's a small, a bit introduction of the background. So it's a house located in this a village that in the mountain area nearby Hangzhou, and we can tell from the map it's surrounded by mountain and a beautiful forest. It's the view that we just finished this construction. We can see that it's a rammed earth wall. It's an old farmhouse that made of rammed earth wall and a wooden structure inside. And then the original house was abandoned, and the whole village is actually very few people left. And then we can tell that the original house has been gone through twice extension, that we can see a bit mark on this wall. And then the notes on the wall is left by the history. The rammed earth wall was has a very small windows, original windows, sorry. And the house was in about 8-meter depth and 30-meter long. And it's in, the height is about 5.6 meter. So it's a very low double high 2 floors rural house. And then we have to combine so many functions in this small house that we need to take off all the wooden partition wall and the floor inside. It's already got rotten. And then the wall getting a bit inclined. So we will dig down the floor, the basement to make a reinforce of this foundation, and then the foundation wrapped up to hold the already fragile wall, and also we insert steel structure, steel columns also nearby the wall, and also hold the wall straight. And that's the process how we reinforce the house. And then by reinforcing that, we dig down the floor and we got a little bit higher space, half underground. And then we also lift up the roof a little bit. Then we got about 7.5 meter high space. Then if we divide it into 3 floors, it will be like about 2.2 meter for each floors, and the 1 for girls capsule hostel, one for boys capsule hostel, and then 1 for library. But then it will be really tight, compact, low space, and very boring. So we are starting to thinking it's not the way to for the solution. And we think from why we have to make the floor height as the like architectural height. Why don't we make the floor height as the height, how people need it, how people stay and live with it. So we end with a floor slab that stacking or overlapping each other, and then we end with a house inside that has 4 floors, 1 public and 3 for private, and 20 capsules, 1 for male and 10 for male and 10 for female, and then wrapped with endless bookshelves. So the result is very complicated and exploratory, but we actually started with very simple this design. We started with setting the dimension for the capsule unit. So because capsule unit is just a chamber that for people to crawl in and sit up on the bed. So we set the capsule rooms as the inside of the capsule room exactly the size of a mattress that is 1.1 meter wide and 2 meter long, and then the height of the capsule is only 1.33 meters, and then we also wrapped the capsule room outside with bookshelf. The 1.3 35 divided into 3 is 450 millimeter. It's a good size also for books. So we start setting the capsule unit, the dimension of the capsule unit, and then we see the unit as the room, the furniture as the room, and the room as the floor height. So we stacking the capsules and the split and staggering the floor slabs. So then we result in that section, like we have the single height space as the room floor, that for people to sit and resting. And when we staggering it, we have the double height space as the space for people, social space for people walk, talk, and passing by. So then it results in a very unfamiliar perspective. When people standing on this floor, his eye height is actually higher than the next floor. So the perspective in space will be very interesting. And then we also, we set up the sections, and then we also split this section into 2 parts. So one part, so it's separate. One for girls capsule, the milk in red, and then the blue is for the guys. So to keep the privacy of these girls and the boys. And then this is the model and the section. We can tell that is the result. And the bookshelf wrapped, it's also perfectly aligned with the floors and the capsules. And we also put the bathroom for girls and guys on the top floor. So it's the long section of this space, and then these 2 buildings is like floating above the library. The ground floor library we have also served as a reception for the hostel, and we come in with the triple high space and possibly by the coffee bar and the reception bar, and there's a reading room. In the upper floor, we can see that it's a staggering floor plan of the capsules stacking each other and become 2 separate buildings. So we'll give guys a tour of this space. So when people come in, and then it's the triple high space of the as the lobby, and we because there's a very beautiful view on the east side. So we took off the original east side gable wall and then reinforce it, and then we sticking out a glass house that made of timber glass and polycarbonate panels. And when we're standing in the lobby and look back to the capsules, we can see very clearly that the floor is staggering. And then this image will show better that when the guy standing here, his head is above this next floor. So the people can have a very unfamiliar talking, like so the floor between each other is not blocked, it's still float. In the material, we use bamboo fiber panels that because this area, the mountain has a lot of bamboo resource. So we use bamboo fiber board as the board for the bookshelf, and then recycled brick, and together with the glass and the greenery outside formed a very warm atmosphere. And
I'm going to have to stop you soon.
Sorry.
Have you got many more slides? Many more images?
No, but very fast. And then this is a reading room. And then when you're sitting on the upper floors, so that the capsules, they can look at each other. And this is the capsule rooms. And each capsule has a window open outside, look into the bookshelf or look into the outside greenery. In the windows also reflect on the facade. And the form, the inside was reflect on the outside. And then at the night, the capsule is shining on the in the night and become a lighthouse of this village. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shishi. Very, very interesting. So it's Yale who's going to start this time because I was terrible.
Okay, so I really enjoy the design, and I think I have two questions. The client was the bookstore owner. Who was the client?
And actually, the client is he rented the whole village, so they have some exhibition hall and some hotel, like very luxury hotel, like villas. You use the original old farm house as the hotels.
Okay, so I'll just yeah. Okay, I was asking this question because I wanted to understand what was the origin of the brief? Was it the client who owns the bookstore? And I understand he owns almost the whole village. So it was his or her idea to have the capsules within the bookstore, or it was kind of your suggestion?
We work together to bring the idea, because the first brief of the client, they wanted to have, because they have the whole set, so he wanted this building serve as the reception for the whole block. And then he also wanted to make some, because all the other hotels are very expensive, they want to make some economical accommodation for young guys, that students, that they can come. So we bring out the idea that why don't we make it also a rural library that serve for the travelers, also serve villages. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, beautiful. So then my quick. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, I've got to move it forward.
I must say it's really a beautiful project. I love the way to assemble the different levels together. And I love also the way to use the local resource like the bamboo. What about the timber? I mean, do you have timber, or all the shelvings and partitions are made with bamboo? Do you have also timber?
It's all like bamboo fiber. So they smash the bamboo into fibers and smash it to become the timber. So it's quite a unique material that this area are using.
So everything is made of bamboo. Okay,
Yes.
that was my question because it's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Oliver.
I was just curious because it's always very difficult to do projects with changes of level. And I wondered, under the local building codes, is there any requirement to accommodate people with reduced mobility, for example, people in a wheelchair or something like that?
Oh, because it's in rural areas, so that we don't have that code. Because it's also it's to be honest, it's not a place that very friendly for wheel. Because also even this road to the mountain area is very narrow and steep, so we didn't consider a lot of that in this space.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Johnny.
Thank you, CC. I always value restoration projects. I think it's a great deal of helping and bring out the history and having the culture of what it once was. My question is the operation income versus the construction costs is what is very interesting to me. With only 20 capsule beds, it's probably not going to make any money. So I want to understand how you as a designer to help them strategize and balance the construction costs so the business can sustain itself in the long run.
Okay, I think yeah, the cost is not very high. I think the most cost was used as the reinforce for this the structure reinforce for the house, and the total spend it's about in Chinese yuan it's about 3 million. So I'm not sure how much in pounds. And also it's we also discuss with client on how the balance of the income and the spend, but the client decided to have this as a charity project. So the library is totally free to the villagers and the travelers. So they didn't calculate only the spend and the income for this whole building, but they count the overall area.
And perhaps the money is coming from the luxury villas. I
Sure.
don't know, from the rent of the luxury villas.
Something like that.
You were about to ask another question, I guess, about the process, which I think we're all interested in how this was devised. Do you want to come back with what I cut you off from?
Yeah, you're talking to me? You're talking to me?
Yes, to Yale. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask, where are the washing areas, the bathroom? Because you mentioned, I thought it's in the top of the building, but we didn't see anything about it. So that was other quick question.
Yeah, I didn't, because it's too much slides, so I didn't add the bathroom here. But it's like this one, because this is the one we see is for the male sector. So the guy's bathroom is a toilet is over here. So if we tell from this plan, we can see that the bathroom is here. So each one has 2 toilets and 2 shower and 1 changing room. So it's okay for 10 person to use it. And also this one is for guests. Yeah, they walk up,
so they have
and
to like
they
their way up to the top.
So I've got a couple of questions. You know, the ethos of the project is very much rooted in this mountainous village, countryside location, as you've explained very well. Does that mean that the building team came from the village?
This building team came from another village, not this village, but they come from Yunnan,
It was
another
local,
village.
was it? They were local people.
They are not local people, but they are the people who used to work in like rural and the mountain area, they have the technique to deal with the unconventional problem in rural area.
And did you learn from them, from the building people, about techniques and stuff that you didn't know about before?
Yeah, yes, a lot. Like how they repair the rammed earth wall, because it's also already a technique that it's few people know about it. So when the wall originally is like that, and then this wall was painted white already, but we repair it and it become like really united facade. So we worked with them and learned a lot of how they make the renders wall together. And also it's interesting that in rural area, the technique or the detail, the material is not so easily resourced as we can, as in the urban area, like the other project I present first. So the detail is much more
with lots of terrazzo.
Yeah. So
anyway,
we
I'm going to
learned
have
that.
to stop you there, but it's a lovely project. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. And
Thank you.
thank you, jury,
Thank
for
you.
your
Thank
feedback.
you.
Thank you.
I believe we're going to have a break now. Is that right, Toby?
Yeah.
We're going to
Bye-bye.
have some. Bye bye,
Bye.
CC.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.